Hello everyone and welcome back to Calamity ChatGPT, the series where AI is our only guide through Terraria's biggest mod. Last episode we beat the Desert Scourge, but now it's time to go back to ChatGPT to see what it suggests we do next. It gave me a bunch of things to do, but one thing stood out: experiment with class builds. I decided that I would let ChatGPT decide on a class for us. ChatGPT decided we would play as the Range class, and I was excited by this because I had already finished a Calamity playthrough as a Ranger. Though ChatGPT has a pretty awful memory, so we're probably going to be a Ranger for the next 5 messages rather than the entire playthrough. When I asked about the next boss I should fight, it recommended the Eye of Cthullu. Great, we're still following intended progression. Wonder how long that'll last. As for gear, it recommended a star cannon and a tendon bow. There are a few problems with this. The tendon bow is a Crimson exclusive weapon, and we're playing on a corruption world. Luckily the tendon bow is basically identical to the demon bow, so we'll just make that instead. And the star cannon is a great weapon, however it requires meteor bars, which can't be obtained until after the Eater of Worlds. Just one more quick thing. I got some sea remains from the Desert Scourge. Normally I would craft these into Victide armor and Storm Surge, but I'm sure ChatGPT knows better than me. My hopes weren't super high, but ChatGPT's answers weren't very good. Sand Shark Pet doesn't exist. Sea Trident doesn't exist. Seafood exists, but it doesn't require sea remains. Also, it summons a boss I am not prepared for. Desert Medallion exists, but doesn't require sea remains. Also, I already made one of these. Seafoam Bomb doesn't exist. Coral Spout, we got a winner, though FYI it isn't a gun, ChatGPT. I somehow lost the footage for this, but to make the coral spout I had to go all the way to the dungeon to get enough books to craft it. I also mined Demonite ore to make the demon bow. Normally I make Demonite gear after Eater of Worlds, but I needed this bow for the Eye of Cthullu fight. I was literally in the middle of crafting the bow when a goblin army showed up. This is great because now I can get the goblin tinkerer to move in. This will allow me to combine accessories, reforge stuff, and get rocket boots, though the goblin army was less good for my character. After the Goblin Army, I spent a long time in the cave searching for the Goblin Tinkerer. I was able to find him and immediately bought some rocket boots in a Tinkerer's workshop. I was able to combine my Hermes boots and rocket boots into the Spectre boots. I also collected enough diamonds to make some magic storage. Gone are the days of messy chest organization. Now I can just throw all my stuff into one container and type in what I want. I began farming lenses to craft a suspicious looking eye which would summon the Eye of Cthulhu, but I wasn't able to get enough in just one night. I went up to my sky bed to speed up time to the next night so I could get enough lenses to summon the eye. But right when I was about to start farming lenses, I got a message that an evil presence was watching me. Every day there's a 33% chance Eye of Cthulhu will spawn without you summoning it. This is shown by the evil presence message. Now that the eye was coming early, I ran over to the Desert Scourge arena. I was going to build a new arena for the Eye of Cthulhu, but I didn't have enough time right now. The fight began, and I got all the way to the second phase, but the eye's dashes were too fast for me to properly avoid, leading to my death. I had gotten enough lenses to make the suspicious looking eye. Calamity makes boss summons non-consumable, so I could fight the eye as many times as I wanted. Unfortunately, even with buff potions, none of my fights were successful. I was planning to spend the next night collecting fallen stars to make more jester arrows, but I was interrupted again by another random eye spawn. This is 2 nights in a row. I hurriedly reforged what gear I could afford to, and then rushed over to the Desert Scourge arena for another attempt. After another failure, I decided to go back to ChatGPT. It advised me to build an arena with platforms, and I thought the Scourge arena would suffice, but I had a feeling I was missing something. It advised me to make an arena 100 to 150 blocks wide, so that's what I did. Mostly. I didn't bother to measure out exactly, but I tried to make it as long as I could. I was about to summon the eye manually, but then another natural spawn happened. 3 nights in a row! But luckily for me, the third time was the charm, and with my long arena, I was able to properly outrun the eye's dodges. Now, it's time to see my successful attempt. The eye's death is going to mark the end of this episode, but I'll see you guys next time for more AI-powered Calamity.